You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting chapter of the podcast we call Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Podcast. My name is Jordan Podcast Low.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. P. Offburn. Stands for podcast. Oh, yeah.
We're almost to 400. We're closing in.
Man, that's crazy.
We're not getting any better at it. You think we'd get better.
Oh,
No.
it's been quite a
I think
ride.
you're supposed to trail off and get crappier as you get reach.
Isn't that a whole thing? Like 10,000 hours? You're not good
Expert.
at if you do anything for 10,000 hours, you're an expert.
Yeah.
How close are we?
Oh, man.
How close are we to being expert podcasters?
I think we got a little ways to go to 10,000.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I don't know. Feels like it.
Mm.
Okay, so this is a snappy episode though. We're just gonna do a you know me, and then everybody gets one thing they can talk about.
You down with KPP?
Yeah, you know me.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be. Why are you the way that you are?
Okay, so the yeah you know me is what is currently living rent free in your mind. When you have that second, when you kind of go off subject, what are you thinking about? I'll start with mine.
Okay.
Since I came up with the question here, we recently talked about it off air, but I mean, we are planning to go to GalaxyCon beginning of December.
That's going to be my answer.
And I bought a cap shield to start getting signed, and so I'm trying to figure out where on this shield I'm going to let these people sign by how important they are to the Cap legacy. And I'm just kind of constantly checking to see who's going to be there and figure out where they're going to sign, what I'm going to have, what color I'm going to have them sign with. Each ring of that shield is a different color. You're going to need a different Sharpie, for each one. And I don't want to screw it up. So anyway, that's what I think about. I'm constantly thinking, where's this guy going to sign? Does he get in the star? Is he his star status? Is he one of the points of the star? Is he in the blue? Is he silver, red?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Yeah. How is this guy gonna react when I have him sign around the rim?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna start in the middle and then work your way out?
So it's that's what I'm thinking about. I'm constantly.
Sorry, you're a fifth ringer, pal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they start to reach for him? No. I don't know what you're thinking. What's your creds here? I see here you only wrote 4 pages in an annual in 2001. I think you need to write over here on the edge, and let's not make it too big. Let's legible. And that's about it. So anyway, that's what I think about it. I'm planning the whole thing out meticulously.
I like that though. I you have to. You can't go all willy-nilly.
Jordan made a point to me when I mentioned the other day that I'm the one paying the money for the signature.
Right.
They decide where the hell I tell them to sign.
That's right.
I figure the only person I'm going to have any trouble with is eventually if I meet Steranko again. He seems like I'll sign where I'm going to sign as big as I want type of guy. Got a little Dexter Vines in him. He's going to sign big and wherever. So I'm hoping to only leave him a certain size spot.
He can sign wherever and have it.
Yeah.
And I have that same thing. That was going to be my answer. It's like we've got about a month before this show is coming up.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of people. So it is coordinating, what do I have in my collection I'd like to get signed? What can I afford to get signed? Is there a book that 2 or more people that are going to be there, I can get both signed at the same time? It's a whole, I enjoy it. It's a coordinated thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
fun. That's why I think about it.
Going through my collection and, oh, that guy inked this. Okay, that's cool. Like making those connections. But I also spiral out where, like, I get into these hypotheticals of, like, okay,
doom scenarios. Yeah.
Joel McHale's going to be there. Okay, Community is like my favorite show. Could I start doing something with the Community cat? A lot of those are nerdy people who go to these shows. So I can start something with Community. I'm like, wait a minute, if I ever met Chevy Chase, I don't know, he probably wouldn't want to sign it. He'd probably be a jerk about it. I'm like, why am I having a hypothetical argument with Chevy Chase that's never going to happen? Like, I'm already planning 12 steps ahead on why this is not a good idea.
I love it.
So I won't answer that, but that is what's living in my head. But I gotta say, it's not rent free because I pay a lot of rent, but it's work is always in my head. But I've been doing some rearranging lately, so that has been okay. I've moved this shelf over here. Well, what if I continue this and move this shelf here? There's new signage I want to do.
Yeah,
I want to get some different things. So, like, there's still stuff I want to do. I need to power wash out front really badly. That's something I've let go. So yeah, there's just always something. It's beyond the regular workday work. There's stuff there's improvements and things that I'm always that's probably, and it's always daydreaming this going here and that going there. So yeah, constantly. If I have a free moment, I'm trying to think of ways to make the shop exactly how I want it to be.
Yeah,
nice.
That
Cliff.
I enjoy that also. As someone who did a lot of years of retail, that was my favorite part of it. You know, I would just get bored with something and the way it looked, and like, hey, I'm going to change this up today, and just spend all day or all week or whatever working it out and moving stuff and trying to make it better. So
you can kind of picture the way you want it. Coach Merrick,
right?
He can't picture things.
But yeah, mine's probably a little different. But we currently are in, it's fall, it's football season. I love football. I love NFL football. I've been this huge Cleveland Browns fan my entire life, right?
Yeah.
And the last couple years, in 2020 they were finally good. We got back to the playoffs. We beat Pittsburgh in a playoff game. It was this amazing.
It was
run.
exciting. We were living it up.
Most fun I've ever had watching football. Certainly since my son was born, and he's all he ever knew was losing.
Yep.
So after that, it all kind of fell apart. We changed quarterbacks. I wasn't a decision I supported. I still don't. I don't like the guy and his history. And now he apparently is hurt. And lately, this season, we lost our running back in game 2, and it was shady. And I've just, the roller coaster of emotion has just been driving me absolutely insane, to the point where I told my wife the other day, I said, I'm not enjoying this.
I should be enjoying this.
This should be fun. This should be an escape for me. Every Sunday just to sit down.
It's a prison.
It is. It's my own personal
That's how I feel every week going to trivia. Like, this should be fun. This is torturing me. Why is this
you're not enjoying that? You're tortured while we're sitting there?
And like, I mean,
just the constant torment of, like, I don't know the geography of Europe. I don't know what this is.
Well, that's why we bring Coach Mayer, so he can know that crap. I just let my mind go. I start thinking about my shield when.
So yeah, lately I told my wife, I said, I'm not getting enjoyment out of this. And like, I used to go crazy if the game wasn't on television. I would have to find a way to watch the game and go to a bar or go over to somebody's house that had the game, and it would just, my whole week almost would be based on this game, and if they lost, I'd be pissed off. But yet I loved it, and I always came back for more. And finally, I am to the point where I'm just like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I want them to win. I want them to be good, but just the up and down, and I can just see. I've seen it over and over, the whole process of, the quarterback gets hurt, and then nobody likes the quarterback, and then he wants to get rid of the coach, and the coach gets fired, and then the GM gets fired, and now what are we going to do a quarterback, and that guy's gone, and we got to start all over again, and the process never ends. It's one giant loop of hell. And so lately I've just kind of...
I'm convinced that this is what you've been thinking about.
Yes. And I've just been like,
I think about it some too, but not.
Yeah,
I'm not that fired up.
Yeah, it's been bugging me a lot, and to the point where I was just a couple weeks ago, I was just like, I'm just gonna turn the game off. I've seen this shit show so many times. I'm just turning. I'm not even gonna finish it, and I've been doing that a lot lately. And like, I look tonight.
That feels to me like the polar opposite of the fair weather fan. Like, you are so committed as a fan.
Yes.
Like, a fair weather fans, they're not doing good, I'll turn it off. But
no,
you're so invested. Like, I physically can't watch this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Physical
this is causing me pain.
Wow.
Yes. So I actually hopped on tonight. I was like, well, let's see if the game's going to be on Sunday. And
yeah, I check every Wednesday morning. I have an app on my phone. I click to see whether I'm going to be able to watch it on Paramount Plus.
Right.
So this week I will be able to. The map shows.
Well,
I can change locations. Though. I might sometimes I got to break out my VPN or whatever. But I don't have Fox. That's what I was going to ask you. How do you watch these Fox games? I can only do CBS or basically, but some of them are on Fox.
Well, normally here's a little. Okay, let's talk about it a little bit more.
Let's do this.
Normally,
we were thinking about it anyway.
As far as live television goes, we don't have cable, so we typically this time of year we get like Hulu Live or YouTube TV, and we stream it. Okay, and you get all your local channels, that type of thing. So we get your CBS and your Fox and ESPN and all that stuff. But it's gotten so bad. Like a week ago, I knew, the billing cycle was coming like in a day or two.
Yeah, so, you're looking week by week. Which do I need, this channel or that channel?
And I was like, I'm just going to change my Hulu back to regular Hulu and get rid of the live. I was like, what the hell? Because
I'm just going to turn it off anyway.
Right. I'm going to get mad and why am I paying for this? So, to answer your question, I stuck a paper clip in the back of my TV,
right,
to work.
Where do you stick that?
Right where you like.
Is there a paper clip hole?
So you know where your coax cable, if you have cable, where that screws in, right?
Yeah,
and your cable would have like, it's got your little screw in, and it's got looks like a little needle on the end that plugs in.
Yeah.
Okay, stick your paper clip in that same hole. Where that needle would, or that, little would go in. And because we are our houses are on a big hill on a really high elevation, you can get about 5 or 6 channels locally. Off the air for free. So that's,
I have a paper clip. It's plastic though. I probably
you got to get metal. Why isn't this working? So that's what I've been doing, but I looked on the local stations, the game is not on, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to be okay with that. I'm not gonna, devote any more time to it this weekend. I'm just gonna, whatever happens, and I can't ride this roller coaster right now. It's too much.
Wow.
So
it is overwhelming. There's a lot of goodness on this team. We got a great defense.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing. But I'm just waiting for it to fall apart. That's it.
No
confidence, no
whatsoever.
faith. This shit show. I've seen this ending a million times. So it's really sad. for me, because I think about all the 40-some years I've devoted to this. It's not like I hate the team. I mean, I kind of do, but it's not like I'm not, I'm never going to say like, oh, I'm not a Browns fan or I like another team or anything like that. It's just like, I need a break. I need a break currently. I cannot mentally take this torture that they're going to put me. I know they're going to put me through. I'm trying not to think about it, but yet here I am. I'm thinking about it. I'm talking about it. So I actually
need to stop and just think about the Roman Empire or something.
Right. Think about that 6 times a day. I actually told my wife as we were in Dayton, to go to that the toy show, the Great Ohio Toy Show. She said something about watching the game the weekend. Is the game on? I said, I don't care. I said, honestly, these little Star Wars figures are giving me way more happiness than the Cleveland Browns have done in years. So I'm just gonna focus on this as much as I can. And
Chris gonna be sitting in his basement banging on Cleveland Browns helmets.
Right. So, yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're a little wound up about that.
I am.
I think I really touched the nerve.
I think this should be a recurring segment. KPP rent free.
Oh, okay.
Where we just let it out.
Find out what
our
current Roman Empire is.
Yeah. Let us know,
Chevy
listeners.
Chase.
Do you want to know
whether or not he's going to be a pain in the ass someday. Sign a poster that you don't even know yet.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
I don't want to get into a fight with Chevy Chase.
I don't want Steranko to come with his
domino. I don't want the first domino to fall that might eventually lead me to being chastised by Chevy Chase in public.
Did you guys? I'm sure you knew this, but when I first got on TikTok, Chevy Chase liked one of my TikTok.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Currently, the only thing my TikTok has is Anatoly, I think is his name. Because once you watch something on TikTok, that's all they show you.
Yeah.
And I keep watching it. There's Anatoly, some guy who dresses up. He's a power lifter, but he's very thin, and he's not a big guy. Mm-hmm. And he wears like a loose janitor suit or whatever, and a fake beard and a hat, and he walks around the gym sweeping and mopping. And then he walks up and moves there. He picks up.
Like
these guys are struggling with it. And then he walks over. And he goes, "Can I move this?" And he just picks it up like it's nothing and moves. And I just can't stop watching it. It's hilarious. They'll be like doing something with a bar and like big 35-pound weights at least on each end. And he'll just walk over with one hand and lift it up above his head and mop under it and then put it back down. Well, it's just like it's I can't stop watching.
Yeah, I don't know what I did before TikTok. Like, it was a game changer.
I like watching people own cops.
Yeah, that's
good. It's a fun one.
Good. So, yeah.
Anyway, okay, that was our opening, and now we each get one thing to talk about. Who wants to go first? What's your one show?
One job? No, one show?
One show. So this week, about the only thing I was watching, just came out recently on Prime, is Gen V, the spinoff of the Boys, and I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a really good show. It's about young people with superpowers, and they are in kind of this school, and it's not the X-Men, not that type of school so much, but they aren't always good people or make good decisions, or people get hurt, and it's interesting. It's funny, and I'm kind of liking it better than The Boys currently. So,
wow, that's good. That's good, Bob.
Very good.
Yeah, it hasn't gripped me quite like The Boys did, but I'm enjoying these first few that I've seen. I don't feel like there's been a show quite like this. There's been a lot of like superheroes in the real world, or superheroes who aren't quite the good guys. Like that's been done a lot, since this big boom of superheroes, but I don't feel like any of them have quite nailed what The Boys does and this spinoff being not a parody but like
there are ridiculous.
It's more about the fame than
Yes.
the superhero stuff. The superhero stuff is a metaphor for fame and power and what people can get away with and like the media training they go through. So like you're going to college for heroes. Well, most of them are just in the entertainment track. They just want to be hosts of shows. They're not even training to be superheroes.
Right.
Some of them you have to do media training and how to do an interview.
It's all about the
and how many
brand.
social media followers you have, which all feels so real. Yeah, the superhero stuff is silly and out there, but like that's how celebrity culture works. That's how Instagram works. That's how TikTok works. Of like, okay, I've got to post 6 engaging things today.
Right.
To me, like it's all planned out and it's all decided by your team, and the Boys and this one especially is digging even deeper into that of like that just feels so real of how celebrity works in our current culture. I don't feel like any other shows quite hit it just that way, and I don't think you could do that if you were just a show about Hollywood.
Right.
It would just be like, okay, whatever. But using the superhero angle to kind of get to this point of like, none of this is real. It's all made for your consumption. It's all to get clicks. It's all to get likes. It's all to get your money. That's there's something deeper to that. Which and it's still a good show. It's still fun, still action packed and funny. But there, I feel like it's got at something important in the American zeitgeist.
Showing how, especially young people, in today's world, are obsessed with their social media, or I got to be in the top 10. You got to be in the top 10 if you want to maintain and that type of stuff. But yet showing how much damage it does to these same people that they're obsessed with it, and can't see beyond it, and just how it can wreck their lives, or some of them. In this case, it's basically a bunch of kids that their parents had injected them with the superhero formula from The Boys to turn them into hopefully superstars, and just how the actions of parents' decisions can just haunt you and affect your life for so long, and not in a good way always. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think the powers they've chosen have they're, some of them are recognizable, but they are mostly, they're not unbeatable characters for the most part. And they certainly have their weaknesses, and it's interesting. The manipulation with the whole show is the characters in the show it's done really well. So I've enjoyed it. That's my show I would recommend this week, and bring notice. Amazon Prime.
Okay.
This doesn't count as my show, but
I
Invincible's coming back, right? I just heard today
2 weeks
from Corbin, the mystical intern, who Invincible is his favorite thing of all time. They're only doing 5 episodes.
What?
And we're only getting the first half of season 2, and then not till 2024 we get the rest. We've waited this long for 5 episodes?
It's Doom Patrol.
What was the first
over.
season? Like 8? Was the first season 8?
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a ton, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Come on, Kirkman.
Jeez. What is your show?
I have to decide.
I'll do mine.
I'll do it. It's fine. There's a couple I could gripe about, but I'll try to stay positive. I'm going to go out of the left field here. This was a show I mentioned when it first premiered a couple years ago, and I gave it kind of a lukewarm, yeah, it was fine. But I've watched all 4 seasons now, and I've come to really enjoy it. Breeders on FX and Hulu.
Oh, Breeders. Okay.
Yeah, so this is Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
his show. He kind of conceived it. I'm sure probably based on some part of his own life. So it lasted 4 seasons, and so the first season, he's got babies at home, and they're crying all night, and he's not getting any sleep. But it's that young fatherhood kind of thing. And every season has jumped forward in time.
Yeah.
So each season they've cast new kids as the actors, or new actors as the kids are. And so by this 4th season, his son is having his own baby, and like you're dealing with being a grandparent and dealing with your own parents who are aging and trying to take care of them, and like can they stay alone? So they've kind of done a lifetime in 4 seasons of TV. They've done a whole with a Boyhood, or there's one of those those movies that age it takes decades or whatever. But it's a comedy, it's a sitcom, and it is funny, but it's that very dry British humor, so it's not laugh out loud. There's no laugh track or anything, but there's some real serious moments and some real drama as well. So it took me a while to, as I said, that first season I was just checking it out, and I was like, this is pretty good. But by the time you build to the 4 seasons with this family and the ups and downs and the fights and the drama and all this stuff, like it ended up being really excellent. I liked it quite a lot.
Yeah, I may have to check that out. I remember you saying something about back when the first season was out.
Yeah,
I've seen an ad for it here or there.
Watched the first episode or two, and I remember talking about it, and I was just like, it did not hold my interest at the time. But I think I only watched the first episode, so.
I could especially folks our age where your kids are hitting adulthood. So this last season is letting go and letting your kids make their own mistakes and leaving the house, and they're not ready. They're still kids. You don't want them to leave the house. Like, I can see that really clicking with certain demographic. Yeah.
Cool. All right, my one show. Let me see. Narrow it. I got a couple, but I was doing the one. I get the word out here because Netflix needs help. Nobody knows about anything on Netflix. There's a game show. There was this famous game show. Well, not overseas. There was a show called The Genius at one time, and it's just like like you had to be smart to be on it, obviously, and solving puzzles and whether to work with people or not. This is a very similar game. It's called The Devil's Plan, and it's Korean. And on Netflix, it is.
Sounds serious.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what they're referring to or what's going to happen. I haven't finished it yet, but it does sound serious. But it's Korean reality game show.
They should have called Squid Games.
Yeah, well,
Devil's Plan. That sounds way.
It has that vibe. It has that vibe. It's got that vibe, but also just because it's foreign or whatever. But it's they get 12 contestants, scientists, and just like educated people are most of them, but then there's also like a couple celebrities that of course I've never seen before, but there's like a kid that did music and some other woman that is a daughter of a couple famous Korean celebrities. But anyway, it's just a mishmash of people, but most of them are really smart. But it is a head-to-head competition. Like they each get a piece. It's called a piece, just like a little golden square with like a notch in it. And that's like the currency in the game. And if you ever are, you're going to earn pieces doing a competition, a main match every day. And if you ever have 0 pieces, you're out of the game. So you're going to earn some. Someone might have a bunch and give some to someone else to help them stay in the game. And it is so interesting also to see the culture of this. Like, they're not very cutthroat. Like, they do try to help each other and keep people in the game. And it's just, I don't know. It's not what Americans would do at all. And they are when they talk about their age, they'll find out somebody was older than they thought they were. They'll say, are you a 93 or are you an 80? She found out somebody was an 83 instead of a 93 when they were born. And oh my gosh, I've been talking to you so like on her level, because I thought you were born the same year as me. And it's just like they really are sticklers about the respect of age and things. So it's interesting. I like watching these different culture things, like why they do that. But anyway, the main game is like it's very like strategy and math involved. There's a lot of puzzle, like there's going to be these cards, and they played like Mafia for the first thing, a kind of a twist on Mafia, where some people are good guys, some people are bad guys. You don't know who is who, and you're sharing information and things. Yeah, pointing guns. Which there was some really cool things in that, like how they had to kill each other and things, and just really neat. And at the end, there's a main match and a prize match. The prize match is where they all work together to like up the pot for the end of the game. So that's kind of fun to watch them work together for a thing and then work against each other. But whoever has the least pieces at the end of the day goes to prison. They're all staying in this really nice house, 2 to a room, but it's like this super nice house. But then 2 people go to prison. Whoever has the least pieces.
Yeah.
And
that's American. That feels
that is.
Yeah. I think I saw that on F-Boy Island.
Who has the least pieces goes to prison. It is very American. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm sure nobody listening is ever even going to watch it, but I have not finished it, but partway through you kind of realize that they discover what the pieces are for in the prison cell. But so you have to have a bunch of pieces to figure out how to open a safe in the prison. But to get in the prison, you can't have pieces.
You can't have pieces.
You have to have the least pieces. So it's really neat to watch them try to, figuring this stuff out, some people are working together, some people are conning each other. And I don't know, they're all very likable is one thing, and pretty nice to each other. And it's just a neat little game show, and it's very, brainy and stuff, but it's interesting. And that's what I've been watching there on Netflix. The Devil's Play. I don't know what the devil has to do with it, but
is it worth picking up Netflix again after everybody dropped it?
Oh, there's so much on Netflix. I didn't have it for like a month and a half or 2 months, and now there's like a bunch of stuff on there to watch. I'm gonna try to burn through it, dump it again.
They said like numbers are way up after they did the password sharing crackdown. Numbers are way up, and they said they're gonna raise prices again. They're doing so well, they're raising the prices.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna burn through it and then get rid of it again." They've lost me for continuous watching. I'm just gonna watch for a month and get rid of it for a couple months.
I gotta watch that Follow the House of Usher with the Carla Gugino.
Yeah, we'll see if I can get to it before I gotta dump it.
Yeah, we have not had Netflix access for
access
for several months now, and it really hasn't affected us.
You need to try the plastic paperclip.
Yes. Maybe I could pull that Netflix in with that.
That's it. We did it. We each had a show. We didn't talk forever.
We reined it in.
Yeah.
We didn't go to excess.
Found out what was really important to us.
And now it won't live rent-free in our heads.
Yes.
We've put it to bed and stopped thinking about it.
Sure.
Sure.
There's more to talk about for sure. Ahsoka ended on Disney Plus. Loki just started. There's all kind of fun stuff. Always. Constant content. And we'll be back with all of it at some later date. Take it or leave it. Remember that? From that episode we did?
Yeah, 45 minutes ago. Yeah, I remember.
Podcast magic. My name is Jordan Lowe. Goodbye.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Take it or leave it. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.